Okay, for our first example, we're going to find the area between the curves y equals negative x squared plus 4 and y equals sine of x from a equals negative 1 to b equals 1. And so the first thing I'm going to do is draw a quick little sketch. And so we've got the curve y equals negative x squared plus 4. It'll be a parabola. And the curve y equals sine of x. Not really sure exactly where that curve crosses over the parabola, but I'm going to quickly verify with my graphing calculator and make sure it doesn't happen before the values of a and b that were given. It shouldn't. So we'll graph y equals negative x squared plus 4. And we'll graph y equals the sine of x. Quick double check that I'm in radian mode, and I am. And check out my window. We'll just go into a standard window. There's the parabola. There's the sine curve. I was a little too wavy with my sine curve in my sketch. But we're going to go in between a equals negative 1 and b equals 1. And so we're finding the area of this region in here. Simple enough, our limits of integration are going to be negative 1 and 1. And then we'll just take the upper curve. The parabola is the upper curve bounding this region. So we've got the upper curve minus the lower curve. And now we'll integrate all of that with respect to x. I could do this by hand. Don't really feel like it at the moment. So I'm just going to go ahead and use the numerical integral feature. So I'll do math 9 and quantity negative x squared plus 4 minus sine of x with respect to x, negative 1 to 1. And we end up with 7.3 repeating as the area of the region between those two curves. Now, like I said, if I wanted to, in fact, I guess I will. If I wanted to, I could integrate this by hand. If we did that, we would just have negative x cubed over 3 plus 4x minus the cosine of x. And we would evaluate that from negative 1 to 1. So we've got negative 1/3 plus 4 minus cosine of 1 minus 1/3 minus 4 minus cosine of negative 1. And cosine of negative 1 is equal to the cosine of 1. And so those cosines are just going to cancel each other out. And I end up with 11/3 minus negative 11/3, which gives me 22/3. Or 7.3 repeating. And that's the end of example 1.